Imagine, if you will, a complete physiological nightmare. A scenario requiring a chaotic, punishing mix of endless endurance and sudden, explosive speed, pushing the human body to its absolute mechanical and metabolic limits. Sounds brutal, right? Well, welcome to this explainer, where we're going to completely dissect the ultimate athletic machine, the mixed martial artist. We're going to look way past the flashing lights and the spectacle of the cage and really uncover the fascinating sports science that turns ordinary humans into elite modern-day gladiators. Here is our cognitive roadmap for today. We'll start with number 1, the ultimate physical challenge. Then 2, mastering the energy systems. 3, power, speed, and armor. And finally, number 4, periodization and recovery.
Okay, let's dive into this with Section 1, the ultimate physical challenge.
Look, when we talk about this sport, we aren't just talking about a single isolated skill set. We're talking about boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all smashed together into one incredibly demanding event. It is a relentless, exhausting test that has the potential to tax literally every single energy system in the human body. To survive inside that cage, an athlete can't just be strong. No way. They have to be metabolically bulletproof.
But, it wasn't always this highly refined science. MMA officially debuted in the US back on November 12, 1993 in Denver, Colorado. And in just a few short decades, it's rapidly evolved from this raw kind of wild spectacle into a highly regulated, legitimate professional sport. And with that legitimacy comes an immense, highly specialized training requirement that, honestly, sports scientists are really only just beginning to fully understand.
Moving right along, let's hit Section 2, mastering the energy systems.
So a championship fight can last up to 25 grueling minutes. Think of the bioenergetic pathways fueling that time like the gears in a high-performance vehicle. First up, you have the phosphagen system. This is your first gear, giving you 3 to 6 seconds of pure, explosive power for rapid takedowns. Then, glycolysis kicks in for about 6 to 30 seconds of intense grappling or striking. Finally, oxidative phosphorylation, that's your cruising gear, operating for 2 minutes or more, providing the essential aerobic base needed for active recovery when fighters are just sort of circling each other. A fighter's body is constantly, violently shifting between these 3 gears.
Now, when you shift gears that hard, your engine runs hot. I mean, really hot. Fighters can hit a blood lactate level of 20.7 millimoles per liter. To put that into perspective for a second, if you or I run on a treadmill until we reach our absolute maximum capacity and practically collapse, our level only hits about 10. So fighters are literally enduring double the searing, burning fatigue of a normal maximum fitness test. It's insane.
And that extreme acidity is a massive problem because high blood lactate literally inhibits muscle contraction right down at the cellular level. In plain terms, your muscles just simply stop firing. To survive this, fighters must rely heavily on high-intensity interval training, or HIT. It's absolutely crucial to increase their oxidative capacity and train their bodies to clear that lactate rapidly so they can keep moving.
So what does a metabolic conditioning workout actually look like? Well, here's a hypothetical 2-minute interval circuit directly inspired by the science. Step 1, punch a heavy bag for 30 seconds, mixing moderate and full speed. Step 2, instantly drop and perform 5 defensive sprawls. Step 3, jump right back up and execute a dynamic takedown on a grappling dummy. And Step 4, finish with 10 seconds of furious ground and pound. This exact type of chaotic work-to-rest ratio perfectly mimics the unpredictable, intense intervals of an actual fight.
All right, let's shift to Section 3, power, speed, and armor.
Now that we've built the engine, let's look at the weapons. While maximum strength is obviously great, what a fighter truly needs is power endurance. This is the ability to perform power-based explosive movements repeatedly without completely gassing out. Moving fast against resistance is vastly superior to pure static strength. If you want to throw devastating strikes or secure a brutal takedown late in the 3rd round, you need explosive power that simply doesn't fade. And this brilliantly illustrates why physics is exactly why speed is the ultimate weapon in a fighter's arsenal. Just look at the equation for kinetic energy. Kinetic energy equals 1/2 mass times velocity squared. Notice how the mass of a fighter's fist only increases the energy arithmetically, but the velocity? Velocity increases the kinetic energy exponentially. Training for pure velocity is literally the scientific secret to exponentially increasing your knockout power. It's a total game changer.
But hey, a fighter also needs hidden armor. Take the isometric towel hang, for example. Grappling isn't just about pushing. It's heavily about pulling, squeezing, and holding. Grip strength is notoriously overlooked, but it is absolutely crucial for dominating those grappling tie-ups.
A fighter has to be able to clamp onto an opponent's wrist or neck with a vice-like grip and hold it there isometrically, sometimes for minutes at a time.
And speaking of the neck, cervical spine conditioning is another critical piece of that armor. Research actually shows that the forces involved in wrestling takedowns are terrifyingly similar to whiplash injuries and car crashes. A thickly muscled, highly conditioned neck acts as a biological shock absorber for punches, and it's your absolute primary defense against dangerous chokes and brutal neck cranks down on the mat.
Bringing us to our final section, number 4, periodization and recovery.
So we've built an incredibly powerful, fast, and durable machine, right? But without a smart maintenance manual, the engine is absolutely guaranteed to blow out. Let's compare two periodization models for building a training schedule. We have linear periodization, which is your slow, progressive intensity increases. And then we have undulating periodization, which involves large daily fluctuations in volume and intensity. The research heavily suggests that for MMA, the undulating model is usually superior. Why? Simply because fighters have incredibly unpredictable schedules and have to balance multiple martial arts disciplines every single week. Daily undulation lets them adapt on the fly.
So the crucial point is this. Despite those brutal training montages you see in the movies, elite fighters actually spend a greater proportion of their time recovering than they do in actual training, managing immediate recovery between rounds, short-term recovery between intervals, and deep, daily recovery is the true secret to athletic longevity.
Because if you ignore those recovery protocols, you will inevitably hit the wall of overtraining. The research highlights these various specific warning signs: chronic fatigue, deep muscle and joint pain, a sudden unexplained decrease in performance, and a spike in your resting heart rate. But it also includes severe psychological symptoms like depression, insomnia, and irritability. Pushing through the pain isn't always tough. Actually, sometimes it just leads a fighter into an overtrained, highly vulnerable state where serious injuries happen.
The science behind mixed martial arts really gives us a masterclass in pushing the human body to its absolute peak, using interval training, physics, and precise, disciplined recovery. But here's the best part. You don't actually have to step into a cage to use this knowledge. Looking at these elite sports science principles, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. How will you balance your own intense output with strategic recovery in your daily physical routines? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep pushing your own limits scientifically.